winner of the 2021 Reader's Choice Gold Medal Awards for YA Epic Fantasy. Nothing can break the stranglehold the gods of order have on the world, except a roll of the dice. An irresistible longing drags young Galen to an ancient vault, where long ago the gods of order locked chaos away. Chaos promises power to the one destined to liberate it. But Galen's dreams warn of dark consequences. He isn't the only one racing to the vault, however. Horace, the bully who lives to torment Galen, is determined to unleash chaos, and he might know how to do it. Galen's imagination always got him into trouble, but now it may be the only thing that can prevent Horace from unraveling the world. The Child of Chaos. Chronicles of Chaos, Book 1. Written and narrated by Glen Dahlgren. Well, welcome back to another audiobook review. I hope you all have enjoyed the new intro, and I also hope you have enjoyed the previous video of this review series. If you haven't, a link will be at the top. Please be sure to see my thoughts on the prequel book before you continue with this review. If you have not also already read the book and you want to formulate your own opinions and your own thoughts, then please, I encourage you to do so. And since we've already dove into this franchise of books previously, let's just jump right in with the actual first book in the series, The Child of Chaos. Starting with the cover and the title. Now, with the cover, I want to say, if I had to pick between the previous book's cover and this cover, I actually think this one has the stronger cover. I can see why this, would appeal to people. It does kind of hold the same feels as the previous cover, but this one does look way more interesting. So, talking about the title, though, I think the title also is 100% perfect, and I'm going to give this section 5 stars. Now, the reason why, aside from the fact that I think that the picture is perfect for the cover, even with all the extra little stuff on the cover, I mean, there's different covers for different versions of the book. The paperback and the audiobook have a very similar cover to each other. There's a completely different one for the hardback. I'm not so crazy about that version, at least the one that they show on Amazon. But the other cover with the hand and the dice, I really like that. It's really interesting. The actual title itself does leave a lot of mystery, because it becomes more of a question as you read through the book. Is the main villain? I mean, you start thinking one person is the Child of Chaos, and then you start to think, oh, well, maybe it's this other person. Or maybe it's this other person. I won't say who it is because that's part of the best part of finding out. But there might be spoilers in this, so again, I will insist on saying if you have not checked out this book for yourself yet and you are interested in fantasy stories, definitely go check this out before continuing on with this review because I might spoil something later on and I don't want you to get upset if you get an answer to a question that you could have avoided. But moving on, now we're going to jump into the writing. And once again, the writing was just as good as before. I wouldn't say it was any weaker or stronger than the previous book I reviewed in this series. So for writing, I'm going to give it 5 stars because, like I said, it was basically perfect. I mean, as far as it's being read. But this one's really kind of hard. Other than, I guess, when I look at the writing, being that I'm listening and I'm not actually seeing the words, I'm listening for overused things, overused words that don't really need to be there. So, as far as I could tell, certain things, I mean, yes, probably the word said most was chaos, but it was all used properly. So yeah, again, 5 stars. Now moving into narration. Again, I actually think this time around it's worth another 5 stars for narration. It is read by the author who not only wrote the story but narrated it as well. He did a great job narrating it. He put a lot of character into the voices of the characters he was reading. So the narration was perfect once again. But I mean, you can't get much perfect when you have such a good reader with such a good voice to read a book that, his experience with doing voiceover work really shows through. So, again, for narration, I give this one 5 stars. Now moving into the story. For the story, I think there was 1 or 2 little hiccups. 1 or 2 little missteps. Now, I'm not sure because see, I read the prequel, which actually came out after this book. Let me just go ahead and say, I'm still going to give this 5 stars because this might just be me nitpicking, looking for problems. But it really wouldn't affect, it doesn't affect the overall story, where it goes through this story. But this is called Book 1, so I expect there to be more books in this, world with some of these characters. And the problem for me was there was 1 or 2 instances where, having read or listened to the prequel first, I knew a little bit of knowledge going in. And there was a line said about the gift of chaos and how everybody was afraid to touch it, so they built this temple around it. to the vault around it to hold it so no one could get to it. And I was thinking, I was like, well, in the prequel, wasn't there a character with the gift of chaos? And she was carrying it around. And Dantes, a returning character, he would have known about this. You figure, if it was done in his lifetime, he would have known exactly where they were going, exactly how they were going to get in. Like, hey, the War's Temple probably would have been there protecting whoever builds. Which is another question I'll have. But I just feel like that this would have been done more recent, and yet this seems very ancient. So, was the thing from the prequel not an actual gift of chaos? Because that's another thing is, I swear they kept saying, or that it was said in the previous book, is that there was many gifts of chaos meant to incite exactly that, gifts of chaos. Or chaos across the world. Maybe I'm just digging too deep. I just feel like there was an inconsistency somewhere with that. The only other real issue I had with this story specifically is the way it kind of ends. Even though I'm giving this 5 stars, it kind of ends like there's not much room for more books to come. So whatever comes out next is really going to shock me if it's as good or better than this. I'm really hoping that there will be a lot more with the gods, a lot more with state of the world. But I feel like, the whole thing with the gods at the end, I won't say what, but I feel like that could have been handled a little differently, not just like such a cutoff, which anybody who's read this will know what I mean, what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to talk in code, so I don't spoil it too much. But like I said, there will be spoilers, so. But there was just this like cutoff, and I feel like that could have been handled just a little differently if you're going to do more books. Leave it kind of open-ended. Kind of how I feel about the Marvel Universe, especially with like a character like Peter Quill. His father said that, if he dies, then Peter won't have the power of a Celestial anymore. And yeah, we haven't really seen that, explored anymore in the Marvel Universe, but it could have just been Peter's father was lying, and Peter could use the power. So I feel like something like that could have been done and actually started here to explain, but just having a cutoff seems very almost final, and it doesn't really leave a lot of room for it to expand, at least not with, a magical element. It's going to become a very real series that's going to become very, political, and I really not sure if the book series can carry just with that alone. I mean, it's not like magic has been very heavy in this series so far. Yes, there's been little hints at magic, little bits of magic, but it hasn't been fully driven by magic in the essence of like my book, The Guardian of Light, or Harry Potter, where magic is forefront and it's what drives the story. But it hasn't been absent like in other stories I've read, where there's almost like no magic at all, and it's just knights taking on other knights and kingdoms and stuff. So this one has had a light magic system, and it's just going to be interesting to see where it goes. If they're going to keep magic in, or if it's just going to get rid of magic altogether. But I think that would be a mistake. But I'm not the writer, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see where the writer takes this. Now moving on to the characters. And the characters, once again, I'm going to have to give this 5 stars because the characters were basically perfect. There was one or two things. One character from the prequel that was taken out very quickly. And it was such an important character in the prequel story that I was like, whoa, what? We didn't hardly get any more time with him. What the heck? You know? I thought for sure he would have, stayed on the inside. And again, trying to talk in code here, but he would have stayed on the inside to try to be a voice from the inside once the climax happened and things were wrapping up. He was going to come back and say, hey, I've been doing this for you all along, so people will listen. But all the new characters, I really enjoyed them. There was one character I really swore that she was in the prequel book, but I re-listened to the end of the prequel book, and I guess I was wrong. I guess she wasn't a character, but there was a character named Lore that I swore was in the other book. But the person I thought she wasn't. So, and this book takes place after that one, so it couldn't be a character that died. But the whole time when Lore and Dantes are, crossing each other's paths, I'm like, okay, why doesn't Dantes recognize her? Isn't she in the other book? I swear she's in the other book. So after I finished this book, I had to go back, re-listen. It's not the same character. It's not her. So, yeah. So again, like I said, other than that though, all the new characters, really loved them, really enjoyed. We got more of the gods, and I really enjoyed that, but it seemed like there was now suddenly more gods. In the previous book, I got the inclination that there was only law, evil, and war. But in this one, there's like those, and then there's charity, and a few others. Minor ones, I guess, And there's like 12 statues, I think, is said in this temple thing. One of each different gods. And it's like, I really hope they're going to explore more of the gods, But after the end, after the cutoff, I was just like, well, guess that's not happening unless the gods all decide to come down and take on humanoid form to hide from the new person in charge. So I'm just saying, yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think, to see the next book. I really hope it's good because that'll kind of carry the series. Again, there was so much with these gods, talked about these gods, and the gods were so important to all the other characters. It'd be really interesting to see where it goes, from the end of this one. As for extras, there's really no new extras. I have all the same links for you, all the same, likes and dislikes from my previous video. The fact that the author himself did the narration is always a tremendous thing, in my opinion, because, I do not have enough faith to narrate my own audiobooks. And for every author that does do that, congrats. You are doing something great. I know it's expensive to be a writer. I know it's hard to work with narrators sometimes. I've had issues with narrators that I've worked with, and when I find those good ones, I try to keep them, but I also try to, reach out to give newer people a chance to shine. So, there's nothing really new for extras, so we'll move right into the final score. And for the final score, for the Child of Chaos, this has been a perfect 10 out of 10. Like I said, I might have had a few issues, but that might just be me nitpicking. And story-wise, as far as I can tell, there's nothing really that I can say, maybe I'm misremembering. But if I am, then that's more reason for me to go back and listen to these stories again before the next one comes out. If it is an inconsistency error or a retcon, then hopefully it'll be addressed or fixed in book 2 and beyond. But all in all, like I said, this one gets a 10 out of 10. I am going to be trying to do more of these audiobook reviews on my channel. A big portion of this comes down to other self-published authors with audiobooks reaching out to me and asking me to do audiobook reviews. So, if you are a writer and you want me to review your audiobook on this channel, there will be a link in the description below, and at the end of this video there will be a link to a video. If you want to know how I do these audiobook reviews and why I do these audiobook reviews, there will be a link to a video so you can see how and why I do these and how you can get me to review one of your books. I can't guarantee that if I get too many that I won't get to it right away, but I will get to it if you send me the codes. And it basically is first come, first serve. So, I'm starting to pick up a little bit now on this. A little bit more authors are reaching out to me since I've, really buckled down on this. But, I've got other things I'm doing on the channel, and I'm doing this. So, like I said, please let me know. I will review most any genre. I can't say I'll exactly be happy with every genre, but I'm going to try. And if I'm not a fan of a certain genre, if I listen to a book and I'll probably start the review by saying, look, I'm not really a fan of this genre, but here's my review anyway. So, if you have not checked out this book series, definitely check out The Child of Chaos. Pick up your copy today on Amazon. It makes for a very good read or listen. Honestly, I prefer audiobooks, and I think audiobook is the way to go because you can read while you're doing other stuff, and you get the same information. I know there's a big thing about, listening to an audiobook's not reading, but I mean, it's definitely worth your time to listen to this So pick up your copy today. Also, for the rest of this month, I have at least one more audiobook review I will be doing near the end of the month. And I have a bunch of D&D movie time videos that I'm going to be releasing, most of which will be Christmas themed. I will be releasing videos all month long, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until the end of the month. And at the beginning of January, I'm going to go back to doing one video every Monday at least. For certain holidays, I might pick up and do an extra, or I might do a special video for that holiday. But after December 31st, I will be going back to my normal upload because I have other things I have to do after the holidays. One of which is finish the final book in my series, The Guardian of Light, Book 6. And I'm really excited. I've been working on this for a while, so either check out my book series or check out this book series, The Child of Chaos, The Chaos Chronicles, which honestly I'm a little jealous of because I had a book series that I was going to name The Chronicles of Chaos, and now I gotta rethink of a title for that series. That was a completely off-related series that I wrote before The Guardian of Light. So, yeah, it was gonna be like The Chronicles of Chaos, Book 1, Evil, Book 2, I don't know. And then Book 3 was going to be Good. So maybe Book 2 would be like neutral or gray or something like that. But, yep, that has been my review. This book, as I said earlier, gets a 10 out of 10. Another really great read. I can really see why it won some awards. And it's definitely worth checking out. If you have a reader in your life, pick them up some audiobooks, and I'm sure they'll be really grateful. So I want to thank you all for watching. I want to wish you all happy holidays, being that this is December. And I will talk to you all next time. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to click that notification bell so you're notified every time a new video gets uploaded. And happy holidays.